Okay, back to the mask.
Alright, so I'm going to spray about 6 inches away, even coats. So this is what I'm talking about, vertical and horizontal. So right now you see the spray, it's going vertical there. If I return it, it's going horizontal. So that's what I'm talking about with that thing. I like to keep mine vertical, I have a little more control with it. Even coats though, about 6 inches away. Lots of short bursts. Really make sure, like undercuts and stuff are hard to get, so get down there and look at them. Okay.
Now I'll generally put on about 3 coats of this black slip before I do any white slip, okay? Not for the class, I want to show you guys the difference between the two is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop this. I'm going to do the magic of television, and we're going to dry this a little bit. I just like to have it a little bit drier than what it is right now when I go ahead and put that white slip on. So I'm just going to go ahead and dry up the really wet areas with the torch. But the more of this slip you put on, the more of your texture you're going to eventually kind of lose. But I use it a lot of times to smooth things out on my pieces. If I have pieces like places that are really rough, I'll go ahead and put on like 3 or 4 coats of the slip just to smooth everything out, just so it gives it a nice even coating and kind of looks like, you know, like no hand is involved sometimes. Just to get rid of all those little finger marks that I have on there. Alright, that should be just about good enough. Now when you go to switch out colors on these guns, that's why I wanted to show you the 2 different kinds. I'm going to dump it out, and you're going to lose a little bit of your material because some of it's going to be trapped inside the gun there. So I'm just going to dump it in the cup. And you could go through the whole process of cleaning it again if you really want to make sure everything's out of there. But I'm just going to run it through here. I'm going to keep the trigger pulled. And a lot of that material is going to kind of come out, and you're just going to kind of keep tipping it over, letting it run through until it runs clear. And it's not really clean as if you cleaned it, but it's going to eventually run clear enough that if you're not worried about a little bit of that black coming through, that first little spray or so, it won't be a problem. Really just kind of clean it out. Alright, that's good enough. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and put this white slip in here. And this is just a low fire white slip that I mixed up. And it's pretty thin. You know, it's kind of the consistency of maybe kind of cream, milkish. Go ahead and put that in. It's been sieved. Same 100 mesh screen that I use for everything else. Oh, forgot to do the lid here. If you're really worried about that color getting mixed in there, then just, you have to take it apart and clean it again. Right, go ahead and screw it on. Like I said, I would have put on a few coats of that black.
And a little test squirt, make sure everything's out. Alright, looks good. Now, I was kind of hoping this thing would clog up a little bit on the tip, but it's not going to do it this time. A lot of times it'll just get clogged up because it dries as the air is passing through there. If that happens, I'm going to show you what to do to get rid of that. You're going to take your finger, put it on the end, push the trigger, and it's going to
back pressure this, and it's going to clean out that tip. So I'm going to do it once to show you what it looks like.
Put it on there like that, and it'll clean it out. If you notice no spray's coming out, that's sometimes what happens. So. There we go. All right. Well,
so I'll let that all set up before I put any color on top of it. So if I want to spray on a color, I can spray on a different color of slip. A lot of times I'll go in there, I'll paint like in specific areas the color that I want it to be. Like I want this little part here to be like a nice like bright blue. I'll go in there and actually paint that on top. But the reason I use this white is because I sand through everything and I like to show all those different layers. So the white seems to kind of show those black layers much better than like the blue would or the another like darker color on top of that black wood. So I put it on the white as kind of like my face kind of coat to kind of start showing that aged look. So any questions on the spray guns, spray booth? Just make sure that thing's on, make sure the compressor's on, quick release, and you should have no problems with it. But I'll always be here in class, to help you with it and everything if you guys need help or anything too. That's it. Okay.
Cut. Thanks.